So let's look at some basic dictionary operations. I'm going to create a new program to play around with this. And we'll need a dictionary to work with, so let's see. We can grab, maybe we'll grab this one, this phone book we created. And so we have this phone book. It's actually a dictionary of dictionaries, but that will allow us to do a few things. And let's say we want to know how many elements are in this phone book. So num elements we're going to set equal to the length of phone book. So this is just the same length function that we've used before, and we'll just say print there are, actually we'll use format string. There are num elements in the dictionary. So we're just going to taking this phone book to see how many elements it says this thing has. And looking at this, is it going to be 3? Is it going to be 2, 4, 6? Is it going to be 9? The question is, how do we figure out how many elements there are in this? So I'm going to run this. And we can see it's telling us there are 3 elements in this dictionary. And so how did it figure that out? Well, let's take a look. If you realize it only counts the top level. So this is one element, then there's a comma. This is another element, then there's a comma, and this is a third element. So this dictionary has 3 key value pairs. The key is Alice, the key is Beth, Cecil, and then the value is another dictionary in this case. But basically, the length will tell you how many key value pairs are in this dictionary. So that told us that there were 3. So another way you can use dictionaries is looking things up. And the way that works is you say num elements, or let's say element is equal to our phone book, and then in square braces. Now before, with a list or a tuple, you would put an index in here. We can't do that with a dictionary. We have to use the key. So we're going to use Beth as the key here. And so now what this will do is it'll look up this phone book and see what we get. So we're just going to put that in here, and again, print, and we'll just say Beth's info. And we'll put element. We don't know yet what this will return with this phone book, which is a list of dictionaries, but we'll run that and let's see what we get. And we can see, well, when we looked up element, we got, so this is the key, Beth, and then this is after the colon is the value, which in this case happens to be another dictionary. So what we ended up getting is that dictionary. And then if we wanted the address of that, what we could do is say address is equal to element, and then we would put the key for that one, which is address. And then we could say print and so now we're saying, hey, display the address here in this string. And if we run that, we can see we get just this piece. And you could put dictionaries within dictionaries within dictionaries, but the key here is basically you pass the key into the square braces and it gives you whatever the value is after the colon. and depending on what level you are, and that will give you that element. We can also, if we want to delete something, or let's say we want to change something. Let's say we want to change the address that we have here for Beth. So what we could do is say address, or we would say this element.address is equal to new address. And let's see what that would happen, or what would happen with that. So now Beth's address is new address. So by doing this, we can actually change values just like you would with a list. Except that with a list, you'd put an index number in here. With a dictionary, you just put the key and you put in what you want the new value to be, and it'll change it. You can also delete an element. So let's delete, and we're going to vote Cecil off the island. So we'll say delete phone book Cecil, and then we'll just print the phone book. See what we ended up with at the end. And we have Alice's information, we have Beth's information, but notice now Cecil's information is not in this dictionary anymore. And we can also do this. We could say has Cecil is equal to phone book, or actually we do it this way, Cecil in phone book, and then we'll print and we'll display that and see if Cecil is in the phone book. And we see now, yes, actually false. Cecil is not in the phone book now. So we can use the in operator to check to see if a key is inside of the phone book. Let's look at another aspect of dictionaries. One is how we add items to dictionaries. So let's start off with a list. Let's say that we have this list, and we're going to make it an empty list, and we're going to say x at 42 is equal to this string, and then maybe we might try to print x just to see what we have. Well, if we try that, we get an error. And the reason is that, well, when we made this list, it's an empty list. It has 0 items in it. When we try to put an item into the 42nd element, well, there's no element there. Now, we could make, a list with 42 none values in it, but this is where a dictionary is really nice. So now, instead of an empty list, I'm going to make an empty dictionary and try that. And what we see is it works. It will just take it. And the reason is, but because this is a key value pair, it's only adding one element to this dictionary. And it's just saying, okay, I'll just associate foobar with 42. In this case, 42 is not an index. It's a key. And it doesn't really care what this is. It just says, I'm going to associate this with this key. And so when you're picking whether to use a list or a dictionary, one question that you can ask is, are these all going to be consecutive numbers, and am I going to start with 0? If the answer is no, most likely what you really want is a dictionary, not a list. And so this is one of the areas where a dictionary really excels. So those are the basic operations with a dictionary. Thank you.